Talk about the song Stop Desire.
I actually wrote the song. We were just about to go on tour with Fun. This was like a couple years ago. We were doing a big summer tour with them, and I went home, and it was supposed to be nice weather. I had gone back to Vancouver and thought it was going to be really nice, and it was super rainy and socked in. And I don't usually write a ton when we're touring a record, and we were in the middle of Heartthrob, and I just sat down and decided to write a song because I didn't want to go outside, and Stop Desire came out. It was so early, I didn't think it would even be considered for the record, but we worked with this awesome producer, Greg Kirsten, and I sent him the demo, and he was like, I think you guys should record that for the new record. And
there it is.
yeah.
Now, Heartthrob was the last record from 3 years ago. When kind of the start of your evolution, your sonic evolution began, where you introduced new friends, so to speak. What was that point where you decided to change directions?
We talked a lot about it even as early. I mean, some of these things, they're like little tiny ideas that you're already thinking about years before you actually do it, And I remember when we were making Sainthood, which was a record we put out in 2009, 2008, I had already started to be really cranky. Maybe even the end of The Con, which came out in like 2007. I remember starting to feel a bit cranky about indie rock and feeling like, there were some, what I felt were limitations. Some of them were self-imposed, but some of them were just systemic within the genre itself. I didn't feel like we were getting the kind of attention that I thought maybe we deserved compared to some of our male friends. Like we were always sort of having to like prove ourselves over and over and over again. And I just was like feeling annoyed. And I remember I had sort of moved away from listening to a lot of indie rock, was listening to, I remember Alicia Keys had just put out a really amazing album that I was really obsessed with, specifically a song called Try Sleeping with a Broken Heart. And I remember thinking, I think I just want to like have like a minute, just like take some of these guitars out, really just sort of let the melodies and the, the textures of the, the keyboards and the synths and the rhythm tracks, the things that we were already building and demoing naturally ourselves, but instead of throwing a bunch of guitar on top, I was like, what would happen if we just like didn't focus on that? And so we already had started to talk about that years before we made Heartthrob. It just takes a minute, I think, to sort of get on the same page, and then also just let things kind of I didn't want to shock people. I wasn't like, okay, we're now in a metal band or something. Like we wanted to sort of have a progression. But even songs as early as, 2009, like a song like Alligator, which was on that Sainthood record. I mean, there's no guitars. It's just a piano kind of riff song. And it's like, I feel like without even our audience knowing, we were already starting to ease them into the idea of us not being a guitar-based band. Yeah.
But what would Tegan and Sara, the metal band, sound like?
I mean, it would be awesome.
It would be fun.
Right.
I don't know if we have the voices for it, but it would be fun.
You could pull it off.
I mean, there's nothing more powerful than just like shredding on a guitar. Like we have a band opening for us right now, Torres, and they just like, the guitars are so rad and it feels so good. But I don't know, maybe we'll go back to it at some point, or not go back. I hate the idea of that. I mean, maybe they will become part of our future again.
We started playing music right out of high school, like professionally, and that's nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we played guitar on every single song for 15 years, hundreds of shows a year. And I think like Sara said, we just started to feel maybe like we needed to try something different. It was sort of like changing up your workout, like going from running to CrossFit or something,
workout. That's all it is. I mean, I was a fan from the This Business of Art record from 2000. So I've been a fan a very long time of Tegan and Sara.
That's amazing.
So I'm going to jump into the role of guy who states the obvious. You guys, identical twins. And I bring that up not just to point out, oh, cool, they're twins. I actually just had identical twin girls 8 months ago.
That's so nice.
And you guys.
You're so lucky.
Thank you. Yes, we are. My wife's actually here too. And
Lou's wife, Janine, right there.
Congratulations.
You came up when we...
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's where I'm going with this,
sure
because
they will be.
We find out we're having identical twin girls, and we're sitting there going, okay, so here's what we're going to have. How are we going to tell them apart? And I start thinking, is this going to be like The Shining? Like, come play with us, Danny? And she goes, no. They're going to be cool. They're going to be like Tegan and Sara.
Oh, that's
and
so
I was
nice.
like, yeah, that's the route I want them to go. We don't want to be The Shining. We'd rather be the Tegan and Sara thing.
Well, that is really exciting, and if I have any advice to give as a
That was my next question.
Yeah, as a twin, I would say, there are so many things about us that are very, very, very different, but there are things that are similar too, and I think there's nothing more traumatizing in all the years we've talked to twins than trying to force twins who are similar to be different, or twins that are really different to be similar. Like, I think you just need to follow their lead. Sarah and I went through phases where we really were attached to each other. We wanted to be in the same classroom. We wanted to go to the same extracurricular activity or buy the same snow jacket, you know, and my mom just let us do that. And then when we would want to resist being similar and be very different, she also encouraged that independence. So don't fall into the trap. We can't read each other's minds. We can't do anything special. We just share a very similar aesthetic.
So now, where did you guys land on the whole getting the names wrong? But like, if your mom and dad got you guys mixed up,
I think we handle it the same way we do now, which is that I get that the brain reads a face in a certain way, and there's similarities to us that are, even for us, like when I was just backstage looking at live photos from last night, and there are photos where I have to be like,
that's
really
so
look,
cool.
because it's like there's so many things similar about us, but then there are very different things about us too. But even we have trouble in a split second sometimes being like, oh yeah, that's me.
I think too, there's also a real emphasis in, especially when it comes to twins, I think with everyone, but we think that we are looking at someone and that's totally how we recognize them. But for parents especially, or people who are really close, you're picking up on gestures, the way someone holds their body, the way they move, or the way their energy is. And I think Tegan and I are really different. And for people like my parents who knew us, I mean, on a very intimate level, I mean, I could walk into a room and my mom would know it was me without even looking over. You know, just I think that we carry ourselves and energetically give off really different.
That's our way of saying you'll be fine. You'll be able to tell your kid apart. Don't worry.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Maybe they'll start a metal band.
See,
maybe we can finally get the Tegan and Sara metal band.
I was going to say,
circle.
I don't think you should. The music industry is very. I'm not sure if that's the goal for the long term. I think that maybe more like an Ashley and Kate Mary Olsen. What is their names?
Mary,
Ashley Olsen.
Yeah.
Hey, if they want to be billionaires,
actors. Yeah,
cool,
get them into
fine.
business. Get them into
Daddy
business.
doesn't need to work anymore, right?